Hey there, freedom fighters on an alien world. I'm the Comics Kid 2099 here to discuss an episode of Superman the Animated Series titled Absolute Power. If you haven't seen the episode, you should, as I'm about to spoil it. Superman is investigating a black hole when a ship is about to be sucked in, and he pulls it out. Yes, the guy who had trouble landing an airplane in the series premiere is now able to pull a spaceship out of a black hole. The people inside are afraid of him, though, and it's because their planet has been taken over by Jax-Ur and Mala, now out of the Phantom Zone after Superman put them there. They are planning an invasion of Earth, and Superman liberates the planet by getting the Phantom Zone criminals sucked into the black hole. Cue credits. This episode has some interesting ideas that I don't think I've seen too much of in comics, and I know I haven't seen any of outside of comics. For instance, Jax-Ur says this planet he and Mala now call New Krypton is out of Superman's jurisdiction. In the Paul Dini Alex Ross comic Superman Peace on Earth, Superman struggles with how far he should go in trying to save the planet, at which point is he effectively setting himself up as God in trying to solve the problems of an entire species, even if he is well-intentioned. This episode toys with that idea just a little bit, but doesn't do much with it, and honestly, it's probably just as well that it didn't go much further with that concept. Superman in this series doesn't do much of the real-world problems. He fights monsters and supervillains, and just as often, terrorists and bank robbers, but he doesn't really combat world hunger or war on the whole or anything like that. So if this episode had gone further with the idea of Superman acting in and out of his jurisdiction, it would have felt kinda out of place with this version of Superman. So while I like the idea of Superman realizing that he can't do everything for the people of Earth, or in this case, that he can't go meddle in the political kerfuffles on other worlds and then leave and let them deal with the aftermath, it probably doesn't belong in this series. And speaking of Superman being on the fence about whether he should get involved in what's going on here, I don't like it. For one, his excuse why he can't do anything is because the property damage from 3 Kryptonians duking it out would be catastrophic. And sure, it would, if you fought on the planet. But when Superman does finally decide to get involved, the majority of the fighting is in outer space. Why couldn't Superman just find a way to lure these two into the atmosphere and then fight them there? Also, why does it seem like Superman only gets involved when he finds out Earth is in danger? Sure, Earth is his home, but there are innocents living on this world that he seemed perfectly willing to leave to their fates. But when Earth is the next target, uh-oh. Now, to be fair, Mala and Jax-Ur attack Superman as soon as he finds this out, so I guess we don't know what his next course of action would have been, but him telling the woman that he can't get involved here doesn't make him look very good. Also, why on earth would Jax-Ur and Mala want to invade Earth? The DCAU is a pretty big place, as we've seen already in this series, with the New Gods and Lobo and his circle of friends, and as we'll see even more of in Justice League, like the planet with the bar that Hawkgirl goes to, or Warworld. Lots of species out there and lots of worlds. Why do Mala and Jax-Ur even want to go back to Earth? To spite Superman? Okay, sure, but he's beaten you once before, so why take the chance? Especially when you already have a world right here that you're in charge of. Seems like you've got everything you need right here. Again, this seems like it's just there to get Superman involved in the story, which is unnecessary since he's Superman, and he should be getting involved when people are in danger here without his homeworld being threatened. And while this isn't really a critique of this episode per se, I do feel like it's worth mentioning since I brought it up before, but once again, no Lois Lane. Did the creators behind the series just not know what to do with her? It seemed like she had so much more presence in the first half of this series, especially with hints that she and Superman would eventually get together, like in Brave New Metropolis or The Late Mr. Kent. But here we have, what, 8 episodes in a row where she isn't really present at all? Yeah, she was there in Where There's Smoke, but didn't play a very large role. Same in both parts of Little Girl Lost. I don't know for sure that they didn't know what to do with Lois, but it sure seems that way, which is weird since this series has barely done anything with her in the first place. And while it's been a while since I've seen the next episode, it's a Green Lantern team-up story, so I'm going to guess that Lois and all supporting characters will be gently pushed to the side once again, but I guess we'll see. So those are my thoughts on this episode. It's fun seeing Superman off-world, but this episode felt like it needed another pass at the script. But what do you guys think of this episode and of my review? If you like the review, you're in luck because I do this kind of thing on most weekends, so hop back here next Saturday to see me talk about another episode of this series. In the meantime, you guys have a great rest of the day. Catch you later.